Hello, hello, my friends. Another dedicated candle review for you today. We're going to be talking about Kringle Candle Mummy Marshmallow. Now, this is one of the fragrances that will be available next Friday, August 1st at midnight. That would be midnight for the first, not like later on in the evening going into the second. This is like July 31st through August 1st, midnight Eastern Standard Time. Big thank you to Kringle Candle for sending this to me ahead of time in PR to share my feedback and my thoughts, not only with them, but with all of you. So I have a feeling that this is a fragrance that is on a lot of people's wish list. As part of that release, there will be 20 fragrances offered. There are 12 new ones as well as 8 returning fragrances. I did do a video last week. I'm sure a lot of you guys caught it already if you're watching this one, but in case you missed it, I will make sure that I have that linked at the end of this video. But I did go over all 12 of the new fragrances as well as one of the returning fragrances that I still have in my collection. So let's go ahead and talk about Mummy Marshmallow here. This is one of their signature 2-wick 100% soy wax candles. It's 22 ounces. This will retail for $34, and it is in this traditional, I would say, kind of translucent black vessel that they started out using, I feel like, with the Halloween lineup. And then this is also the same vessel that they use in a lot of their reserve candles. This specific candle that I am reviewing for you today has a pour date of June 12th, 2025. And the label here, this one actually doesn't creep me out too much. You guys, if you caught some of my reviews earlier this week, that Killer Clown, I pretty much could give you a shot of like the label, and then I was like, all right, we're going to turn this baby around. But thankfully with this one, it's not bothering me too much. We've just got a mummy in the cemetery with like a full moon in the background here. It does have a little bit of like a, it's kind of hard to show here. I don't know. I'm going to try to show it, but it is a little bit like shiny and shimmery when, if you were to move it around. It's not as reflective as the Abduction candle, which has like the alien on it. But still a nice label going on here. I feel like it fits definitely with the Halloween theme. Fragrance notes on Mummy Marshmallow are top notes of cinnamon, clove bud, marshmallow. Mid notes, earthy mosses, what do I have here? Birch, cedarwood. Sorry, you guys, my eyes are 40 years old now. Base notes of musk, oak, patchouli, and vanilla bean. So here's the thing, you guys. When I did that initial cold sniff video, I did say, and I still stand by this, that if you are hoping that this is going to be a true gourmand marshmallow fragrance, you are going to be disappointed. However, do I feel like this is a marshmallow fragrance that goes well with the Halloween holiday? Yes. And I'm also going to tell you guys that this fragrance reminded me of something. And I was like, what on earth does this remind me of? So on Cold Sniff, I was definitely picking up that marshmallow in the background. It is the same marshmallow, in my opinion, as the marshmallow fragrance that they used in the 2024 release in their fall. They had a candle called Warm and Toasty. It was a huge hit. I love it. It's kind of like a sophisticated take on Marshmallow Fireside. However, there's a little bit more warmth and amber and sweetness in that fragrance. This candle, I will tell you, does not have that same warmth and sweetness from the amber note that you get in Warm and Toasty. But this fragrance does have, I was telling you guys on the cold sniff impression, I said there's a little bit of kind of like a smoky aspect to this, but it wasn't necessarily smoky as in like a bonfire or even some of the other smoky fragrances that Kringle has come out with. And once I started burning this candle, I was like, oh, I know what this candle actually reminds me of and why I'm kind of picking up like a smoky, earthy element. So to me, the smoky element is kind of that resinous smoky note that you get with a lot of Palo Santo candles. And the more that I burn this candle, if you guys are familiar with a candle that I loved from Bath and Body Works, I think I fell in love with it 2 summers ago. Their Palo Santo Vanilla. If you happen to like that fragrance from Bath and Body Works, you're going to like Mummy Marshmallow, because I'm going to tell you guys, upon burn, that's what this fragrance really, really reminds me of. Is it an exact dupe? No. But is it in that same fragrance family? Absolutely. You get kind of that earthy, kind of resinous smoky note, like I said, that you would get from a Palo Santo, which I know that that's not how this is being marketed, but that is what my nose is detecting here, with that sweet marshmallow in the background. Now, the notes listed here, interestingly enough, I think the reason why I'm getting kind of that smoky Palo Santo note is you've got those base notes of musk, oak. There's definitely a little bit of like woodiness to this, patchouli. There's some cedar wood in here, and then you're mixing it with some, oh, there's also birch. So then you're also mixing that with some spices. We've got cinnamon, clove bud. There's some vanilla bean in the base note. There's some marshmallow. So I think that that is what is giving it this balance of kind of like a smoky woody note with a marshmallow note. I think it's really well done. Like I said, my comparison to my nose, what from candles that I have burned in the past, this is very, very similar to Bath & Body Works Palo Santo Vanilla. I do like it. The only thing that I would say that's slightly different about this one, or maybe like what I would say sets this apart, is that when this candle is burning a little bit longer, it sounds kind of funny. I think it's those woody notes of like the birch and the cedar wood that I smell a little bit like. It kind of reminded me, it sounds kind of funny. If you guys remember, I grew up, I was born in 1984. And so I remember going to school, like in the early 90s. And I remember when we would go up and have to like manually sharpen our pencils at like those, the pencil sharpener that came attached to the wall, and you would like turn the little spindle on it. That freshly sharpened pencil, that's kind of the woody note that I will get sometimes in this candle when it is burning. It doesn't linger all the time, but every once in a while I'll walk into the room and smell that. And it's mixed with a little bit of that like sweet marshmallow in the background. I'm not mad at it, but that's kind of the woody notes that I pick up in this. But again, that I say would be like the only thing that slightly deviates from my comparison to Palo Santo Vanilla. Otherwise, when I'm burning it, that's what fragrance I think that this reminds me of the most. Let's go ahead and talk about the performance of this candle. So I have it turned here to the side. You can see that this one is actually burning really nicely for me. Sorry, you guys, I keep hitting my camera here. The wicks aren't getting too wild and crazy. You have seen on some of the other candles that I have been burning. Now, earlier this week when I did some reviews, that I showed you guys that if you burn them for too long, you're definitely going to want to trim those wicks after about 3 hours, because the wicks do get a little bit hot and aggressive. But this one has been burning for about 3 hours now, and you can see it's not really a problem. I will extinguish it after this review, but I did want to let you guys know that I feel like as long as you keep it to like a 3-hour burn mark, extinguish the wicks if you see some excess carbon on there, and then trim, and then you can relight. I think you're going to be okay in keeping the soot minimal. Now, here's the thing with this fragrance. Strength and throw. I wish that I could say that this one was a stronger fragrance. For me so far, you guys, I'm going to say that this has a maximum of about a 6 in terms of strength and throw. For me, it averages more like around a 5.5. This is a very medium performing candle for me. It does perform decently in a closed concept. So like when I've been burning in my master bedroom, and even when I've been burning it in my daughter's bedroom, definitely fills up the space within there. There's lower ceilings in those rooms. It's not projecting too far outside of the rooms, although it does throw a little bit better, which is why I'm going to want to say it's around a 6. But again, it's not overwhelming. It's definitely noticeable. However, when I put it out into the living room, it gets a little lost out there. I do have to be a little bit closer to the candle to be able to smell it. It's not really a fragrance that I can walk in from across the room and still smell it out in the open concept. So if you're hoping for this one to fill up your open concept area, that is not going to be the case. Now, there is another candle here. There actually are a couple of candles in this Halloween lineup that are strong performers, but I am going to say that this one is not. So I would recommend this one only if you're planning to burn it in a closer room, or a more closed concept style of room or home, or maybe if you're wanting to have it as I would say like an accessory scent, or like a complementary fragrance to some stronger performing candles in your collection. So I would say, like, if you already have their warm and toasty, this is a nice complementary fragrance to that one. This also really complements, what was the other one that I just had at the top of my mind? Oh my goodness, it's gone right out the window here. Oh, Smoke and Oak. If you had that one from the Reserve collection last year, this pairs really nicely with that. If you also have some Skull and Sonnet left over from last year, this one is also going to pair really nicely with those fragrances. It's just a little bit more of like I would call it like a moodier type of candle. I feel like this one is kind of in just the vibe that this one sets, and the fragrance family. I feel like this is kind of like this year's, again, not the same fragrance by any stretch of the imagination, but I feel like it's kind of in that same family as Skull and Sonnet. It's kind of like got a little bit more of like a mysterious vibe to it, but it's not too earthy, not too smoky. It's got a little bit of sweetness going on in it, no booziness, but just an overall really nice fragrance. So if you are interested in purchasing this candle when it is launched next week, I do have an affiliate discount code with Kringle. It is Katie15. It will save you 15% off of your purchase with them. Like I said, this is launching August 1st at 12 a.m. midnight Eastern Standard Time. So if you're like me on the West Coast, that is going to be Thursday, July 31st at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And again, if you're on Central Time, Mountain, or any other time zones, just plan accordingly. So let me know in the comment section down below if this one is on your wish list. And feel free to like this video if you found it helpful. Consider subscribing to my channel if you are new. I do want to say thank you so very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.